Cheers, Laserheads. Cloudfather here. Well, Rust-Oleum clear on Rust-Oleum also wrinkles the paint. Although in this particular case, it's actually kind of a cool effect. But I'm going to have to start looking for some other clear that does not react with the paint. I have the same problem with alcohol ink. I've tried Rust-Oleum, I've tried Krylon. I'm going to probably get some Zinsler shellac in the spray bottle because that doesn't react with paint, so we'll start trying that. The next thing we're going to do, yesterday we talked about the cold plate, which is this guy. This is 3mm cast acrylic clear. We put blue spray paint on the back, and then the steel plate is there to keep the surface temperature of where the marking is occurring or the clearing of the paint. It helps keep the temperature even across everything, so I'm hoping to avoid pinholes and things like that. So we're going to set something up and give that a try. Okay. Light burn again is dropping its connection if it's left on overnight, so we'll send a note to the folks at Lightburn about that and the debug logs. Today we're going to do our cold plate thing. Everything's loaded into the system, so I'm now just getting the setup done. We're going to do a 2-pass. We're going to first do a sketch mode, take a look at that. Then we'll do a cleanup pass with grayscale to see if we can change the depth. We're going to do the initial run at 24,000 max power of 20 and 35 watt mode. The reason why we're doing that is we want to just get a hint of an image. And then we can tune the power back and forth or tune the speed up and down till we get a good solid sketch trace. And the purpose of the sketch is to basically build the outlines, and then we use the grayscale to fill the rest in. So that's what we're going to do first. We're going to run 504 DPI. We're going to leave the dot width correction alone. We're going to fill shapes separately. That tends to give me a little bit better performance on sketch mode. So this is a fairly large piece, so it'll take a while to run, but that's one of the reasons why we're running up the speed to 24,000. So we're good to go there. I have manually focused at 15 because the autofocus in RC6 is non-functional at this point. So far we haven't found anything other than autofocus and occasionally losing its connection to be a problem, but we're still in the process of checking out features. So we'll go ahead and start this. Now the start button isn't working. Oh, nope, there it goes. Just a big image. So it looks like it's going to be about 51 minutes. So we'll go check back in 55 minutes. Oh my God, the rain is gone. It's been months since we've had sunshine. There's the RV that we have all the custom doors in. Back to business. Okay, we've got some Mirrorplex that we've put a little black on the back of the mirror backing, just so we get a little cleaner cut. We can walk over and take a peek at the other stuff we're working on. These are both extruded acrylic. So we're going to go through, and right now we painted the backside We'll put these on the cold plate as well and do a few more images on those so we can fine-tune that process. A quick update on our tile. I don't know how well you can see this, but the clear, which is supposed to be compatible with the other Rust-Oleum paints, is wrinkled really badly, but it actually has done a fairly nice artistic effect, so I think I'm just going to leave it as is. I was really pleased the way this particular image with grayscale turned out. This is where we did a sketch pass, then a grayscale pass. So that's a very effective combination if you want this level of detail. Okay, this is pass 1 of grayscale at 24,000, 50% power and 35 watt mode. As you can see, until we run a cleanup pass, we really don't get the grayscale. So we'll run a sketch pass now and clean this up, and then we'll get back and show you the results of that. So here is the setup for the sketch pass. It's 24,050, negative image, bidirectional, 2.5% overscan, 454 DPI. Again, we increase the DPI when we do a cleanup pass because it sharpens the edges. The rest of the sketch stuff is default, except for we fill shapes individually. I find that both for grayscale and for sketch passes, if you fill the shapes individually, you get cleaner edges. So that's the reason for that. The other thing is happy clean shop. We just spent the last hour while we were waiting for this to run, and I can now walk through the shop on my bare feet. And it's even a beautiful spring day today. We've had nothing but rain since December, so we're enjoying that very much. Anyhow, let's go fire this off. Again, we're running release candidate RC6, and we're definitely having problems with focus, but everything else seems to be reasonably okay as far as what I've tested so far. Again, I'm collecting logs, which I will forward to the fine folks at Lightburn so they can take a look at what we're seeing. We'll probably also clean the Laserhead this afternoon after we're done. We haven't been doing things that are particularly dirty, but due to the really dirty stuff we did a week and a half ago, I want to take another quick look just to make sure we catch anything before it becomes a problem. So we'll see you in a few. All right, we're back. Well, this turned out pretty nice. What we did is we did a grayscale followed by a sketch to sharpen it. And then we went on the paint side and we put some pink alcohol ink for the cardinals, a little bit of dark green for the branches and leaves, and then a little bit of yellow. And once we put that in a frame, that'll be very nice. I really like that. So we're going to go and set up for doing a couple more. We're going to go to the 10 by 8 format, and we'll set those up. Okay, we're getting ready to do another pass. On this pass, we have our steel plate, which we just sanded off and cleaned with acetone. And we're going to use that for the e-sink. We're now using a special piece of cast acrylic. It actually has a mirror mylar back on it. So we painted that black so we could get a little better cutting through the mirror material. And now it's sitting face down. So we're going to take and do an inverted image on this. So let's go find ourselves some artwork. And then get started on setting up for that. So we'll go give this one a try. Go move it over to our work area. Again, I have guides on X and Y side where I line things up. That ensures that I never have any problems hitting the gantry. And let's see, let's go to inches for a second here. This is going to be a width of 8. Height of 10. And now we'll do a frame, see if it actually fits. So it is bigger than that, so I'll reselect it here and we'll extend it until we get a nice fitting image. I like it to slightly overlap so we don't see any lines in the edge. So we're filling the image up a little bigger than we normally would use it because it fits the frame better. Yeah, that looks like good on that one, and that one's good too. So now we have it centered so the image will be correct on the piece that we're doing. And it's just about a couple mils wider in X and Y. That way you don't see any line edges or anything like that. Now this image is a mix of grayscale and very good dark and white, black and white rather. So the first thing we'll do is go over to image mode here and open up the properties. And I think we'll do a sketch first. Since this is a mirror, it gets interesting because you could do this either way. I'm going to stick with 300 DPI in sketch mode. We're going to run 50. I think it's 16,000 for the first pass. Since this is a slightly different material than other plastics I've used, I'm going to try a different approach on this. We'll see which way we have to move or if we destroy it on the first pass. So now the question is, let's do a preview, take a look at it. Again, the focus is messed up in RC6, so I've manually focused this at 15. So it'd be the same as if we did an autofocus. So on inverted, that would be interesting. You kind of have to think in two directions because I'm actually cutting a reverse image on a mirrored surface. So the question is, where do I want the light to come out? I'm going to go ahead with that. I'm going to go ahead and invert it. If it doesn't work, well, next time I go to Tap Plastic and get some more of this scrap, I'll do some more. Okay, so 1650, 300 DPI, sketch mode. We've got it all framed and ready to run. We'll fire up the console here, just so we've got it. So we'll go ahead and start that. What's interesting is the longer these spray paints are drying, the higher amount of power I'm having to use. The air temperature here is probably about 70, 72 degrees. And all my previous stuff with this has been done in the 30s and 40s. So I'm actually seeing a temperature difference with the same paint dried the same number of hours in terms of how it lasers. So that's one I need to do some more thinking about. Anyhow, we'll check back in about 60 minutes. So this is what our first project in the morning came out. This had the blue background. We shot through the surface. Then we went through the back and we used some pink alcohol ink for the cardinals, a little bit of dark green for the leaves, and then yellow orange for the pine cone. So that turned out pretty nice. So a quick little update. As you can see, the gray is really cleaning up the sketch. So this is going to look beautiful. Really, really excited about this. So we'll see this in about an hour and a half. Okay. So it looks like we got some of our mirroring off here. Oh yeah. Oh, that's pretty cool. I like that. Put a little alcohol ink behind it. That will look cool. So that one came out pretty good. So let's go ahead and put another one in. This one we can move over to the post-processing bench. So this one is an 8 by 10. We're going to go ahead and shoot some more artwork on that and see how that one goes. Okay, so it looks like our first pass of doing the sketch mode turned out really well. So we'll go ahead and start the grayscale mode. That will take about 2 hours. So we'll check back in 2 hours and see what the result is. All right. Well, we're done for today. So these are some examples of Clearplex with a mix of grayscale and a mix of sketch. This one has alcohol ink in the back. That's where we're getting the color of the cardinals and the green for the leaves and the pine cone. This was basically a black and white image done with the same types of effects, but we wanted it a little bit darker. And of course, the red is kind of a traditional color for this. This is another example of a mix of engraving and a mix of doing pockets. So the clouds are pockets. The rest of it's pretty standard engraving. And then, of course, there's acrylic paint that has also been used and alcohol ink for the trees. This is one of my favorite pictures of the moon. And this was done by layering 6 different shots of grayscale, or 6 different passes of grayscale at different powers. And it has amazing detail. I probably can't even show it on this camera, but it's very, very detailed. This was just kind of a funny one, make for my granddaughter. She likes whales and trees, so we thought we'd do that. And then this one was a really interesting experiment. This is actually cast plexiglass with a mylar mirror in the back. And I did a sketch pass and then 3 grayscale patches to give it the effect that you see. And this is gorgeous. I love this. This is the circle of life from the salmon that's, you know, has great tribal meaning. But this just turned out beautifully. And what I put in the back of this is actually I just painted a piece of scrap white paper that was shiny with blue paint to give it the blue background, to give it the waters in the ocean. So I was very pleased with that. This has been a fun day. We got a lot of interesting things done. So that's all for now. We'll probably get another set of videos out here in the next couple of days. Cloudfather out.